Hello everyone! Today's I'm gonna be how to build a multi-context lab for Kubernetes. Last year, I did it when I joined HashiCorp, 2021. I bring it how to deploy NXOX with this Vagrant thing. Yeah, it was good, but NXOX topic is not hot. But today's topic, Kubernetes thing is really hot as far as I know. Yeah, so hopefully everyone likes this topic. When you're using the Kubernetes thing, it looks like it's this kinds of some context. Single KSS context uses. So when you are deployed at the part and then other things within the single clusters. But when you are using the more cluster like this, cluster plus, productions view, multi-context is really common to use. If you use EKS, AKS, GK, it means that you have a multi-context lab already. And the other last one here is the NKS. NK is the neighbor Kubernetes service, so it's a local company. You know that this Kubernetes is really hot and really popular technology, so many of the companies support that. So there's a really big company in Korea, they are support to Kubernetes things. I will show up the demo why it is multi-context lab if you're using the EKS, AKS, GK things. Here is my context list. I used the NKS, GK, EKS, AKS, and I select the EKS and then check the node. And yes, there is a 3 node and pod. And I can deploy here for any kinds of their own some proposed deployment, the pod things. So I can check that too, like this. And this demo actually for the topology spread constraint is really good feature for the Kubernetes. So and then I can deploy two topology spread constraint one to there, and I checked out the EKS status, and then I move to. If I want to move that, there's a GK things. GK check that node and then pod. There is the node and the pod status, but different because the context is totally different things. So I can deploy here for GK purpose. For case that's using the purpose, I can deploy their own pod things, and I can deploy for GK topology spread constraint things. I can deploy here too for GK things. So it is a different context. And then I can move to the other one. NKS thing. NKS have their own specific pod. Because there is an isolated pod. So there is no any kinds of pod and node. And I already deployed there. So many things there. Line boutique things. And Kubernetes things, and fear thing, those kinds of things I'm already deployed and it's still things that. So I have multi-context already, and I have many kinds of context switching, and then use that to their own wrap. Okay, back to the topic. If you're preparing certification like a CKA have also multi-context. Here's that. KAS, HKS, BKS, WKS, EKS, IKS. There is the 6 contexts needed to the certification. The other certification, CKAD, CKS also have a multi-context. CKAD have a 4 context, and CKS have 16 context they said. And also, I'm summarizing for the Linux Foundation's the handbook to here. So you can check the site if you want get information for the certifications. Okay, currently, if you are beginner or starter, you don't need to worry about or you don't care about this multi-context at the first moment. But after that, few days or a few weeks later or a few months later, you are jumping into the product line. Product line, I'm already show up to the public managed Kubernetes service. Yes, they have they provide a multi-context. So if you are using the product line for Kubernetes, you must be use multi-context. Yeah. So you have to be know about that. If you are really bunch of money or you have a really lots of the some company support, you can use that your leverage your budget. Yeah, you can use that your budget, but yeah, you know that this every time is cost is a matter. So how can I make a multi-context lab in your laptop and desktop? Those kinds of hosted things. Yeah, here is the solution. Vagrant can be support that. Yeah, before we start to introduce how to deploy this multi-context lab by the Vagrant, I'm gonna be introducing myself. My name is the Hoon Jo. My role is the cloud solution architecture at the Megazones, but my primary job role is the Kubernetes engineers. So I really love to do the Kubernetes job and Kubernetes stuff things. So I pressed it a book even in Korean. Yes, it's really hot, really bestseller in the Korea's marketplace. So even if in the Korean things, yeah, so if you are really interested in how is this goes on, yeah, or you can read it Korean, or if you want to see that there's some picture and something drawing is, you can click it and then see that there's how is this to organize it. And the other thing is recently I published that the standard architecture Kubernetes, yeah, like this. I don't want to be the push to it is really standard, so you have to be used that as this kinds of some stack. But if you are using that as Kubernetes or you are want to be the referencing, it can be leveraged how to organize this Kubernetes thing. So it looks like it, or you feel like it's he's really like it as Kubernetes. And yeah, in here is a link too, so you can click it and then see that how it goes on. Even if in the Korean, there is really lots of the logos, so you can configure out this what it is. Okay, the contents is like this today's. Yeah, first of all, I want to explain this how I want to build this. There is some minimizes for the host environment thing. So host environment, some limitation, and then I'm gonna be explaining this code for the multi-context and demo. And last one is just the bottom line. So yeah, it's some too long and don't read, but it's conclusion thing. So I move to this first step. I have a two laptop. 20 gigabyte and a 16 gigabyte is the two kinds of laptop, or I feel like it's the most of the common or some generally to use the laptop. There are 16 or someone have a 8 gigabyte laptop, but I think 8 gigabyte cannot be covered this multi-context. So in my feeling or in my suggestions, the minimizes the RAM is the 16. So 16 is the RAM covered this multi-context. Okay, back to the CKA, the wrap. CKA have a 6 cluster. 6 cluster, we can be make a Vagrant file for the 6 cluster, but I think it is useless. Yeah, it can be covered, but we have a limited resource for using this Vagrant in your own laptop. It cannot be, it can be, but it's useless. So I removed that, this one, and this one, and this one. And I'm going to be covering the 3 cluster, 3 context. That's the host environment minimize this purpose. And why do I organize the 3 cluster for some multi-context lab? And when you are deployed the 3 cluster, you can be bringing it to the, okay, count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. There is a 8 is VM. Yeah, power on for your own multi-context lab, eventually things. Next one, I want to be explain this code. How is it organized? It's a little bit this complex. Looks like it's a little bit complex. Yeah, but it's not totally complex. It can be modified at the variable. You can be bringing it your own lab, your own purpose thing. Yeah, first thing, Vagrant file. Yeah, Vagrant file is main file for the Vagrants. So there is the several variable in here. Yeah, there is a 2 dimension array. There is a 3 context, 3 cluster, PKS, HKS, WKS, and then here is this master IP. And here's the worker IP range. And here is the, it looks like it's this found sign, or number sign. So how many you will be deployed this worker node in here? So it's a 2, 1, 1. You can be modified in here, and then you can be deployed how many deployed the worker nodes. And here is the version. K8s version, Docker version, container version. You can be modified in here. So you are only modified in here, and then you can be make it, these kinds of the VM to deploy it. See? And then others Vagrant file. First of all, master node Vagrant file. Master node things. So in here, cl_variable, is cluster variable, and then it can be listing the CV. CV is number 0. CV is number 0 in here. B KDS, H KDS, W KDS, and then in here IPs, 1.CV number 1. CV number 1 here, master IP, 110, 120, 130, in here, and port number, in here. It can be bringing it here. And provisioner shall, have an argument. So K8s environment build shell, bringing it this 4 kinds of argument. 4 kinds of arguments. BKS in here, and 110 in here, and 11 in here, and worker node number, in here. So bringing it this 4 kinds of argument. And other shell, K8s packages configuration, bring it 3 kinds of thing, 3 kinds of the argument, their version. Kubernetes version, Docker version, container version in here, and master node shell, bring it this 2 kinds of arguments. First, CV number 1, CV number 1 in here, master node IP in here, and the master node name in here. There are some 2 kinds of arguments can be joined at this master node shell. And KS environment build, there is a really bunch of this configuration, but we don't have a time. We don't have only for the 30 minutes, though I just skip it at this, but you can be what it is if you're really familiar to the Kubernetes or how to build this Kubernetes things. There will be some environment requirement thing. So, and then here is the related argument for the multi-context. We can make it a host file. Master node host file in here. We are send it to the 4 kinds of argument. So number 1 in here, number 2 in here. It can match that like this. So B KS-M in here, and then master node IP in here, and echo to Accenture hosts. And then for function is gonna be to make some worker node hosted file. So CV2 in here, the worker node IP range, and then I variable, bringing it from here. In here, we are some worker node number. How many worker node deployed in here? So it means that the loop, how many time to loop make it as worker nodes, and bring it here. So, and 2 variable make a first digit in here, and then cluster name, and then worker number. Cluster name, worker number. Cluster name, master. Let's make it at this host file whole. And next, they'll be sending out the 3 kinds of argument. One thing is the Kubernetes version, Docker version, container version. It can be added to in here. Docker C, CLI, containers IO. Those kinds of things make it a Docker version and container version. And Kubernetes version, you can see that this Kubernetes and Kubercontrol, KubeADM from the Kubernetes version make a Kubernetes totally their versions. And next, master node is the last one for the master node. Normally, if you are some deployed the single cluster, single some context or single cluster, it doesn't need to like this kinds of parameters to put in that and bring it this parameter to deploy it by the KubeADM. But it means there's many of the parameters to make a multi-context. So have to be make Kubernetes the config file. So there's really lots of the Kubernetes file, and then advertising address. CV number 1 here. CV number 1 is the master node IP. Yeah, so this variable will be changed this master node IP. Yeah, 110, 120, 130. And Kubernetes extra argument is necessary, so it need to the same formula. And so multi-context meaning is you have to be change this context name, because there is the same context is the originally deployed by the Kubernetes, so rename is necessary. So use that CV name, bkdes, hkdes, double kdes, put it in here, and then renaming and change it for the kubeconfig file. Yeah, it's necessary too if you are deployed the multi-context. Okay, next we are looking at this worker node side. Worker node, it means that there is another loop from the how many you are deployed at the worker node, and so it means that CV3 is here, 2, 1, 1. It can be make a small loop to deploy at the worker node. Yeah, so it can make it at the more worker node to deploy it. bkdes make a 2 worker node, hkdes make a 1 worker node, double kdes make a 1 worker node by this code. And the other thing is really same purpose. And different thing is that this worker node shell bring it, here is the same. Master node IP, master node last DD's IP actually, And the other thing is that CV2 and the I, because the, worker node can be deployed more. So it means that it can be flexible. So it have to be make it like this. Here, 11, 12, 30. 11, 12, 30 is it can be changed in here, and then here is the IP, and it can be merged that make a total last digit. Okay, see that the worker node shell. Worker node shell like this. Kubernetes extra argument like is we are making this kinds of last digit. Put it in here, and the master node IP in here. It's fixed. This lab is the fixed to like is this number. 192.168.1. is fixed here, prefixed it, and then changes only in here. And last one is the console. We have 3 kinds of multi-context K8s cluster. We have a multi-context K8s cluster. So we want to be handling this other VM. That means that is some Consul. And then Consul can be merged at the several kubeconfig and make it the one kubeconfig. Consul shall use this kinds of argument. First thing is this K8s version. K8s version can make a kubecontrol to install. And the other argument is really fixed. The IP, IP is thing. So CL on the bar, 2-dimensional rating. So 0, 1 in here, 110 in here, and 120 in here, and 130 in here. So if you really want to build this more context, it have to be changed. But I mean that I want to build this minimize purpose to the multi-context, so I fixed it code. And Consul code is not difficult, I think, yes. Consul shell will be install kubecontrol, but it needs to the version, version, bring it from here and then put it in here and then make it their own version for the kubecontrol. And here is for the flatten for the kubeconfig. We are using the SSH path, bring it from each of the master, bring it the host file and kubeconfig file. All of them have a same password. Vagrant can be fixed password, so we are using the password. And then kubeconfig is flattened by this code, and then flatten make it one kubeconfig file. Bring it from each of the context, here. bkdes, hkdes, wkdes, bring it here, and then make it one Platon code. One Platon kubeconfig file. So it is just the really hard coding size. So yeah, workaround can be changed, but if you want to build this more cluster, yeah, you have to be changed either. I already explained that why do I do, yeah. Okay, we are explaining this bunch of code and how is this work. See that the demo can be how is this work really well, whether or not. Vagrant up make these kinds of multi-context things within this configuration. We are changing this one, and then how is this work further. First thing, yeah, show up. First, check a file. And then, check the variable. Now, Vagrant up. Now connect to the Consul node. Consul node password is the Vagrant. And then check the node status and version. And contents list. And change the context. And version check. And deploy it at the Nginx and check the deployed at this pod. Yeah, Nginx is the deploy well, and check the IP. And change the context. And check the node and the pod. There is no pod because we are already changed the context. And now I'm destroyed all of the VM2, deployed another version of the clusters. Yeah, it works really well. Okay, how to change this Kubernetes version from 1.23.1 to 1.23.2. We're gonna be Vagrant up after changing the Kubernetes version. First, check the files, and then check the change the version. In here, yeah, already changed it. And then Vagrant up. Yeah, deploy well. So connect to the Consul node. Password Vagrant, and check the node status and version. Version is changed. And check context list same as before. Yeah, same as before, right? And change the context to HKDS. And check the version. Version, it really changed well. And change the context to WKDS. And check the node version. Yeah, it's really good. And deploy the Nginx. Yeah, Nginx deploy well. And check the IP. Yeah, IP as well. And destroy all of the VM to deploy another version of the context cluster. Yeah. It does work well too, right? And how about this change Kubernetes version and then workload number like this? Yeah. Change the Kubernetes version and then workloads, yeah, change it from the 1 to 2. Yeah, it will be deployed the 2 workload for WKDS. Let's get it started. Check the files. The same as before. and check the Vagrant file. Yeah, workload changed and Kubernetes version changed as well. Now Vagrant up to deploy the clusters. Finish to deploy multi-context. So connect to the Consul node and check the Kubernetes version. Yeah, Kubernetes version work well. And check the another context. Yeah, another context node deployed well and version changed as well. So we want to know about WKS really deploy 2 workload. Yes, 2 workload deploy and version applied well. Okay, it is really work properly. You can be change how many workload you want to deploy. Bottom line, yeah, too long, don't read. When you are Vagrant up, you can make your own multi-context lab like this. It can be leveraged when you are preparing this Kubernetes certification like this. Yeah, it's really have to use those kinds of lab for preparing Kubernetes certification. I can achieve that the 3 kinds of Kubernetes certification, and I am highly recommended those kinds of certification to know about this Kubernetes itself. You can use that today's code below this some address. You can get it to or poke this code, and then you can change it whatever you want. And furthermore, today's I just introduced multi-context lab, but you can use this code to deploy HTTL lab, Argo CD lab, or CI/CD pipeline lab, and Lux Chef labs. So any kinds of the Kubernetes lab you can make by Vagrant. Hopefully it can be have to some develop or some improve yours Kubernetes skill up and enablement. Thank you for your listening that today, and hopefully see that this next year. Thank you. Bye bye.